Hello, these are the news headlines for July. The CWU held its annual conference in Bournemouth during June. Held at the Bournemouth International Centre, this year's conference saw members, delegates and the CWU executive gathered to discuss and vote on a series of issues that affect the whole union. In his main address, CWU General Secretary Billy Hayes called for the union to look to build on its strength in the workplace by recruiting and organising more members.
Think about what got you active. Was it PIQ 10014, late attendance procedure as well? Or was it, I'm not having that. I am not having that, and I'm going to do something about it. So when you get back to your branch, go to look for those people. We need to look at ourselves as to how we can do that. Go back to your branch and find a few more people who say to you, I'm not having that, and I want to change the world, and I'm going to start with this workplace, or my branch, or my union. Thank you very much.
For more information on the events of this year's conference, please visit the CWU website, cwu.org. Keeping the public posted, a 12-week nationwide campaign was launched on May the 5th, aimed at overturning the government's plans to sell off the Royal Mail. Launched at John O'Groats and ending at Land's End, Keeping the Public Posted has seen CWU regional secretaries take a giant postcard and a 20-foot inflatable postbox on a tour across the nation's towns, cities and beauty spots to rally public support before finally delivering them to Gordon Brown.
We expected a lot of support. But the way the public is engaged with the tour and the way that the public really are engaged with supporting the British Postal Service and not wanting it sold off has been absolutely incredible. We've had families, kids turning up, taking the freebies that we've got on the stall, people keen to sign a petition. We don't have to go out and drag people in to sign a petition, they queue up to sign a petition once they know it's about supporting the post office. And alongside that you've got MPs, MEP candidates, and it's just been a phenomenal support from every spectrum of society, really.
Thousands of postal workers in London and Scotland took strike action in response to cutbacks by the Royal Mail, which break a national agreement and that the union says will threaten the modernisation of the company. Dave Ward, Deputy General Secretary, said that Royal Mail had broken the 2007 agreement, which committed the company to negotiating modernisation with the CWU. Angry postal workers also demonstrated outside the offices of Royal Mail Chief Executive Adam Crozier.
Why don't you come down and justify yourself to your employees who are out on strike today? Out on strike for the future of the Royal Mail. Adam Crozier, why don't you come down and speak to us?
We want to see a vision that we're going to come through this and that there is still a future. And we don't see that from the company. And I think our members understand that. They don't see it at any time in their workplaces. And I suppose, you know, what I've been saying to people is that if the only vision that Royal Mail can come forward with of modernisation is actually endless job cuts, endless attacks on our members' pay, pensions and conditions, and what are very damaging cuts to the service, then who in their right mind is going to support that? So this is a battle really over the very future of the industry.
Dave Ward warned that if Royal Mail doesn't enter into negotiations with the union, more strikes may follow. Pay talks are ongoing with BT despite the company's stated position of a pay freeze. The CWU is strenuously making the case that all members deserve to be rewarded for their contribution to a company that is still profitable.
Well, after protracted pay negotiations with BT this year, we're happy to announce that we've actually got a proposed settlement for our membership. Obviously, it's not as good as we'd like, and we'd like a consolidated pay rise, but £400 unconsolidated is a fair achievement, I think, for the union at this time. We think it's, as a union, it's an achievement this year. Obviously, we're recommended to membership, and we would really strongly advise members to vote for this pay deal.
Royal Mail's announcement last month of double end-year profits brought a swift response from Deputy General Secretary Dave Ward, who immediately demanded an end to the company's pay freeze policy. He said that a freeze was no longer defendable.
We've just witnessed, through the efforts of our members, through the efforts that they've made in the first 3 phases of the agreement that was reached, we've seen the company outperform all of its financial targets for the first time in years. At the same time that every other company seems to be going through a recession, we've seen Royal Mail post its best financial targets. And what I'd say to people is, remember what they said at the start of the 2007 dispute. They said that this company can't afford a single penny on a pay rise. And they held that position for 3 or 4 months of negotiation. It didn't move to offering us anything. In the end, we got a 6.9% pay rise over 2 years, which was the highest at that point in the public sector. And what happened as a result of that? They posted their best financial profits for many, many years. So we don't believe the company when it said it can't afford a pay rise.
Following difficult talks with Alliance and Leicester, the CWU has secured a pay offer for members covering a 20-month period. The offer is currently being put to members and is recommended by the union's national negotiating team.
Well, we've had a very difficult set of negotiations with the bank off the back of a loss of over £1 billion last year, but we've managed to get a 20-month deal which gives most of our members an increase of 2.3% over the period, and it moves the pay review date to line up with the Abbey National for 2011. We've also managed to put in some important underpins to protect the lowest paid, and we've renegotiated the pay progression arrangements for new hires so that people get to the rate for the job much quicker. I think more generally it shows the value of the work the CWU is doing in Alliance and Leicester. We've got lots of challenges coming up with the integration into Abbey National and the broader Santander group, and the pay deal has shown that we can deliver for our members in the bank.
For more information about that, please visit the CWU website. Early Day Motion 1082 has gathered more than 200 signatures from MPs. The motion, signed by MPs from every major party in the Commons, calls for a state-backed bank to be established in the post office. The bank would provide a genuine alternative to conventional banking and tackle problems surrounding financial exclusion, while providing security for the post office network.
I'm absolutely delighted that something like 215 MPs have signed the Early Day Motion calling for the establishment of a post bank, and we've got broad support from all political parties, the Lib Dems, especially Labour, and the national parties in Scotland, Wales and Northern Ireland. The next phase of our campaign is the publication of this manifesto. This has been sent to all MPs, urging them to get behind the concept of a post bank. We believe that post bank can be utilised via a rebranding of Northern Rock. Effectively that will sustain the post offices going forward, but importantly it will provide decent, honest banking for small businesses, people that are financially excluded in society and public in general. We believe a post bank can be established, and the case is made in our manifesto, a strong case is made in our manifesto, and we believe if there's political will, this can happen.
The union is vigorously challenging Virgin Media proposals to introduce pension scheme changes that would drastically cut the company's contribution and introduce a salary sacrifice scheme. Under the plans, the vast majority of Virgin Media staff will get a lower company contribution, and in some instances the cut would be as much as 6%. The CWU are now looking for many assurances on salary sacrifice arrangements, including that it should be on an opt-in basis, not opt-out.
Where we're up to with Virgin Media pensions is that we've been pressing very, very hard for our members to retain the right that they have currently to their existing pension scheme, because they're paying pension contributions, and over a certain age the company pay double that. For them to manage to maintain that level of pension would mean a huge cut in pay for our members, because they would have to contribute more. So we've been pressing that very hard, and where we're up to now is that the company have agreed that those pension arrangements will stay for another year. We don't think that's good enough, and therefore that's not the final word as far as we are concerned. The discussions are still ongoing, and we're going to be pressing them very hard that that year is at least extended for a much longer period, but preferably actually that our members keep their rights to their existing pension. We're also pressing for the contribution rates in the new scheme to be realistic, because currently they do not pay people enough for them to live on when they choose to retire.